Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call on the Bordas and Bordas Hotline. And that number to you is 412-575-2600. You can also tweet us at KD Pomp, at Paul Zeiss. We're here to talk about sports with you, and we begin with the Penguins at home. And they've made it 10 in a row at home, and they're doing it any way you want to play them. They can outscore you, as they've done in the previous 9 when they averaged 5 goals a game. Tonight, it was a different kind of opponent. The LA Kings come to town, and they're coming off a bad loss at Carolina 7-3, but they're normally a tough team to play against. Normally low-scoring games, and it was tonight, but the Penguins prevailed playing their kind of game. 3-1 your final score. Ryan Reeves had a goal. Zach Aston-Reese, your game winner, on a power play from Letang. And then Evgeny Malkin, number 32, from Crosby on an empty netter. So the Penguins are on a roll. They're, at this point, 1 point behind Washington, although the Capitals are leading tonight 2-0. So still, Washington has 2 games in hand. Paul Zeiss of the Post-Gazette and 93.7 The Fan is here. And Paul, they're playing the way you would expect a 2-time defending champ to play. They are playing it any way you want to play it. They could beat you. They're showing signs just as they did the previous 2 years when they came on strong in the second half of the season. Yeah, I mean, they got hot at the right time. I think the other thing you can't discount is the fact that Mike Sullivan pushed a lot of buttons over the last 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, leading up to this little run, putting guys down, setting guys up, bringing the guys up from Wilkes-Barre, switching the lines around. I mean, he did a lot of different things to try and get this thing jump-started, and it seems like it's worked, obviously. They've been on a roll, and it's not out of the realm of the impossible. I mean, they could very easily finish first in this night, in the division. They could, and they can also win another Eastern Conference championship. I don't see many teams right now. If you look at the other side of it, the Atlantic Division, Tampa Bay has been on top all year, although their lead with Boston is now down to 1 point. Right behind them, breathing hard, a team that will be here on Saturday, Toronto Maple Leafs, young and hungry. On this side of the bracket, aside from Washington, what team is going to beat the Penguins in the series? I don't see many at this point. No, I think capable of doing it. Yeah, I think the Penguins are going to be lucky because they're only going to have to play one of those 3 teams. I mean, I think those 3 teams are the only 3 teams that have a chance of beating the Penguins in the playoffs from the East. I don't think that any of the teams, Columbus, New Jersey, Philly, all of those teams. Actually, I would probably say of all the teams in the Metro, New Jersey might be the one that I might be a little bit nervous about, even more so than the Capitals, even more so than the Columbus. I think with the Capitals, it's pretty clear they've got Braden Holtby's number, and with Columbus, it's pretty clear they've got Borowski's number too. So if you can beat their goaltenders. Well, not only getting their heads. That's what I mean. They get their heads. Been yanked several times. Holtby's been yanked several times when they play the Penguins. New Jersey, though, if they play their game, they can be. And they've got some good young players too. I don't know if they're quite ready yet, but that team would worry me a lot more than the Capitals or Columbus. I think one team right now that's playing really well and has the components to beat the Penguins, if they play their game, I think would be Boston. The Bruins hadn't lost in over a month in regulation, and they got a lot of good things working for them, including 2 good goaltenders right now. We'll see what it's like in April. That's still a long way off, but still. The Penguins are going to be a factor, as you would have expected at the beginning of the season, although it took a while for them to get going. Here's another interesting question with them. You're getting close to this trade deadline. There was a lot of talk a month ago they'd be making all sorts of things. Now, not so much. You got guys stepping up. Like tonight, Zach Aston-Reese, who was doing his own Patrick Hornquist imitation in front of the net. Tough, physical guy, not afraid to mix it up. Dominic Simone. They have young guys who get opportunities and make the most of it. Yeah, I think there'll be a move. Maybe one. Not a big one. Not a big one, though. I don't know if it'll be a big split. I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago we were sitting here. We were talking that there probably wouldn't be a big splash move because there really probably isn't a big splash move to be made without breaking up the part of the team that you probably don't want to break up. All right, the other news of the night involves Penn State basketball. You heard me right. It's turning into a basketball team. They've committed to their head coach. He's been there for 6 years, and maybe the patience is paying off. Tonight, Ohio State went to Happy Valley at the Bryce Jordan Center, and they got stomped by 23 points. Penn State wins. They're 5-1 against ranked teams in their last 6 home games. And they made it look convincing. They're looking like an NCAA tournament team, Paul. They stormed the court, and they got some good players. Tony Carr, Shep Garner leading the way. Yeah, they probably need 2 more wins, Bob. They've got chances for quality wins here. I think they've got Purdue, Nebraska, and who's their last one? Michigan, I think, Michigan State, somebody like that. I think if they just win maybe 1 more of those,
and then do something in the Big Ten tournament, they're in. I mean, I think they'll be in. If
they deserve it.
If they get 2 of those 3, I think they're definitely in. I mean, the good thing for them is they're getting hot at the right time, they're playing well at the right time, and they have the right kind of opponents where they can get a lot of RPI and all that other stuff and get their numbers up quickly.
All right, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Pitt. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. This is your place to do it. It's 412-575-2600, so don't be ashamed to call. Don't be afraid to call. Let us know your opinions right here live on Pittsburgh CW. We'll be back right after this.